I'm in the field, 2-minute drill, highlight reel, let's review, what's the deal, okay? Watching footage going out of control, buckle up, we got an hour to go, so let's go, that's straight heat. Ain't no chillin' around here, back that back, Nat chins, how we feelin' around here? Got my whole squad in the building around here. If my name ain't on it, then I really don't care. Come on. 3-point stance, we advance. Ball in my hands, I don't take no chance. Touchdown dance, that's my jam. No hot takes, this is nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. The G on the beat, hey. Yeah.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? Really like that. You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Monday night. And boy, let me tell you what, if you thought I cut my co-host off often and just talked over everybody a lot on this show, imagine how bad it's going to be tonight after a week of no content from yours truly. First of all, notes from while I was gone. Cold opens. Can't lead them with, what was it, pooping? Nothing regards to smells, anything that makes people weirded out, okay? Can't cold open with that. Do you understand me?
Oh, okay.
Is this like
Not
a strict thing?
I meant to like
getting in trouble.
I meant to actually like leave that as an open-ended question. I would understand me, open-ended question, so I could cut you off. But yeah, I didn't really do that very well. But how are you? Are you doing all right?
Yeah,
it's good to see you guys.
Chilling.
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
We learned a lot while we were gone. If you don't know, during this time of the year, I go on my football pilgrimage. I travel the world with anybody who will open their doors to me, and I learn as much football as I possibly can be. It's why I'm so juiced up to get in front of a microphone and, you know, actually talk, because for the last, 10 days, boys, I ain't been doing much talking. I've been doing a lot of note-taking, a lot of asking questions when I can get an opportunity to ask questions. But I feel like I got a lot of pent-up talking. You know what I mean?
Talking, yeah.
Pent up talking. Even when I'm driving, I drove a good 1,400 miles, somewhere in that range the last 10 days by myself. You know, so that's very weird for me. Mm-hmm. Normally, I can't shut up. So excited to do a lot of talking tonight.
Well, go ahead. Do some talking.
That's what I'm about to do. I'm about to do a lot of it, Jonathan. It probably not very well because I'm pretty rusty on the content front of things. But yeah, extremely excited to give you guys some notes on that. But the football pilgrimage has come to a close, ... for now.
Ah.
All right, for now. Don't know when, don't know where, but, you know, always willing to say yes. You know, I had a mentor, if you will. Nah, he's not that close to me. I took some advice from him. Adam Lefkoe told me never say no. I think I've told you this story. I'm going to never say no, God, with regards to these football trips. So if you're a football coach listening to me today and you will open your doors, I'm willing to go. But for right now, we have put a pause on that, and we are ready to put a conclusion point on all the things that we have learned from this pilgrimage, because there is plenty of ball knowledge to be talked about here. The reasons I do this, obviously we do a lot of film work during the year. We do a lot of football education. I vision myself as a educator of football to fans, not to football players. I don't think there's ever anybody who's played it at a high level that comes to me going, man, I learned something from that guy today. Not really. We don't talk it at a super calculus level. We talk it from an educational standpoint to the everyday common fan. But if I don't continue football education, I don't think I'm doing my due diligence. I'm not giving you guys the best, form of our platform that there possibly is. So anybody listening today that wants to open their doors, we will add a stop, if you will, to the football pilgrimage. But somebody asked me on this way, or during this, was like, hey, what do you want to sit in on? What do you want to learn? I was like, hey, first of all, I don't know what I don't know. Mm-hmm. When I go to these places, I have no idea what I'm going to learn. I don't even know where I'm going or why I'm going there. But I'm going to find out, you know what I mean? There's going to be something that I can learn. So here's what I've learned from this trip, or from these trips. First and foremost, the Big Ten be wildin'. The Big Ten be wildin'.
Huh.
Spoke to a person that sits in on a lot of these committees, that sits in on a lot of these, hey, we got a bunch of athletic administration type people sitting in together to discuss the future formats of sporting world and college athletics. And it basically starts with the Big Ten letting everybody know that they would rather the guardrails on this thing be really, really wide, and we can spend as much money as we possibly want, and we can go do whatever we want. Salary caps as high as we want them, because the Big Ten kind of knows they have a lot of money. They have an exorbitant amount of money. And it started out as this like SEC and Big Ten kind of asserting their power on everybody else. And it's kind of morphed into, it seems like, and this is a non-SEC source, by the way, it seems like the Big Ten's at this level of we want all the spending we possibly can. And then the SEC's kind of in this territory now where they're kind of bringing everybody into the middle, almost like a mediator from the Big Ten's craziness to the SEC kind of being like, yeah, we kind of want to be like that over there with the Big Ten, but we kind of want to protect everybody else.
Right.
So kind of like the SEC's now almost being like a mediator for like normalcy.
Oh, so the SEC's become the common man?
Yeah. All it took was 3 national titles. I don't think that is a quinky-dink. So, yeah, that's a good point right there, John or Christian. Yeah, I kind of coming more towards the middle man as opposed to the crazy man as they were for about 20 years in this sport. I thought this was interesting. I talked to a lot of these programs and a lot of college football now. Notice a trend of more one-score football games. Have y'all noticed this?
Yeah.
Scores are tighter. Lines are tighter. You know, Vegas spreads that being. Lines are tighter. Projections are harder to do. Wins and losses are decided by fourth quarters at a lot higher rate. Hell, we just watched the national title winner kind of go about getting into these games of 24-17. We're going to out-execute you in the lates. That's how I categorize Indiana's national title. Would you guys categorize it similarly? Like they out-executed teams on their way to a national title?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. I talked to a football coach that had gone through this where they were a one-score losers, lost a lot of one-score losers, and then went on to win a lot of these one-score games onto a record that they hadn't really seen before, a level of success that they haven't really seen before. And the answer, my question to that coach was basically like, what was the difference? Obviously. Everybody's doing these one-score games. What's the key to winning them? And he basically said that all they preached and all they hammered on was violence. We are going to be violent, all right? Because when it comes down to it, as the game, here's what my notes say, right? As the game shrinks, the scores get tighter, it's the violent man that wins. That is what football is. When we talk about, if you listen to coaches talk about, execution rates, or if you talk about the base building blocks of football, they start with blocking and tackling, right? Blocking and tackling, and being violent. Violent wins in those categories. I thought that was interesting because he didn't have some magic schematical shift. There was no cultural message that changed their success rates in those moments. It was, we're going to preach violence. Very similar to honestly what Kirby Smart talked about all offseason last year, fire, passion, and energy, right? It's like that has everything to do with what we're talking about here. Something we put on the wall here. Every time I go on these trips, I take coachisms, things that I would eventually, if I do end up with a whistle in my mouth, things that I would envision me being about as a football coach. And I love this one. Give guardrails, not directions. Okay? In other words, don't tell them exactly how to do it. Set the parameters for how it needs to be done, and then allow them to figure out their path of their own right? And then if you think that there is a specific way for things to be done, all you need to do is tighten the guardrails. And even if I don't become a coach, if you're a manager listening today to this, I would apply that to what you got going on as well. I thought that was a very interesting thing to note, right? If it's too loose, tighten the rails, but give guardrails, not directions. Spoke to a player personnel director, guy who's responsible for attaining talent, right? Whether that be a general manager, whether it be a director of player personnel, if this is your job, attaining talent. My question to him is, first of all, how do you find them? Then how do you get them, right? I think that's important to know. How do you find good players? How do you get good players? And this led me to this revelation and kind of an opinion that I've had about recruiting and scouting for a while now. You ever heard the adage of, oh, they sleeping on me? They just ain't found me yet. Oh, they're sleeping on me, that kind of thing. There's no sleepers anymore, guys. There are no, oh, there's a great football player over here. He just went, quote unquote, under the radar and that's why he's at a Division II nowadays? No. They have systems nowadays, okay, that offer track at rates that you couldn't even imagine. In other words, if you get a Division II offer nowadays, you're quote unquote on the board. They have found you. You get put into this system and then you get evaluated. I was telling the guys today, here's basically how it gets broken down. Player X gets a Division II offer. He immediately goes into this offer tracking system. That offer tracking system now has that player's name. That player now gets put on a board that must be evaluated by somebody in the recruiting staff. Recruiting staff then evaluates that player. If he's good enough, all right, he goes outside of the recruiting staff, gets elevated to now the staff has to actually watch him. The staff has to watch him in the war room. They evaluate what they are individually. Then they sit down together. They watch the film together. Then they decide, is this kid offerable? Is this kid offer? We need to take him. You know, that kind of discussion happens then in that war room. Then the offer is then extended. Okay. That's how this is working. So that's how that works at mid-major A. And then mid-major A offers him. Then he circles the mid-major wagon. Then all of a sudden P4A offers him. Now he's circling the P4 wagon. Do we all understand how this works?
Yes.
Again, are no more, quote unquote, they're sleeping on me. No, they're not. You're in the system. They have well evaluated you at some point throughout their process, okay? So that is how that kind of works nowadays. There is no, quote unquote, hidden gems. So I was telling the boys this one before the show as well. Anybody who's ever played football in the last 20 years, you've gone through something called flex. Or if you're one of a nerdy guy who works people out, maybe what do you call it, flex or dynamic warm-ups, right? We do these things nowadays. We're not static stretching like we used to. When I was in Pop Warner football, we were, hey, let them hang, meaning you're going to put your toes together and then hang for 10 and touch your toes. And then we're going to do way backs. We're going to touch our toes, touch our hips, and go way back. We used to do that type of static stretching. That is no more. Now everybody is a dynamic warm-up football program. They do some type of variety of it, some type of version of it. Whether it's, hey, we're going to do, pull your heels to your waist, or pull your ankles and get a quad stretch for 5. And then we're going to high knee for 5 and then sprint for 10. Whatever it is, your dynamic warm-up. Everybody's seen them. The amount of practices I go to where guys are half-assing the dynamic warm-up, or jogging for 5 when they're supposed to be showing a burst, or, hey, we're doing high knee karaoke and we're really supposed to fire the knee up over, but it's the third practice of spring practice, your body's sore, so you're being kind of lazy. You can see discipline in the flex. Like you can, every time I go to practice, I can tell how disciplined a football team is kind of based off how they warm up. I know that sounds really, really goofy, but I asked the football coach, I watch you guys practice. Every single one of y'all is doing flex the same exact way. 130 guys out there at practice, they're going through the exact same stretch, the exact same way, with the exact number of reps, almost the damn near same pace and cadence to the flex and the warm-up. And I was like, hey, where does this discipline come from? Before I could even get the question out of my mouth, he stopped me and said, strength and conditioning program. If your strength and conditioning coordinator puts up with the nonsense and allows certain things to happen, that's how practice is going to be. That's how warm-ups are going to be. That's how the weight room is going to be. So it all starts in that strength and conditioning program. I spoke to another coach that called that off-season, before spring practice, called that the first quarter. And the first quarter is handled by the strength and conditioning staff. And the second quarter is mine, right? We're in spring practice. Third quarter is off-season work when they're not with us. We got some OTAs and stuff, but that's back to the strength and conditioning coordinator. And then fourth quarter, the season, we work together, right? Strength and conditioning staff is there to maintain. We are there to execute, right? So it all works in unison, but it's really, really important that discipline is maintained by the strength and conditioning staff. I loved this approach from a head coach. I didn't see this from Kirk Signetti, but we've talked to people up there at Indiana. He's been very open about how much film he watches, right? And how he's kind of 90% of his day locked away in his room studying film. Not a lot of access to players there, not really like dealing day to day with the personal relationships of players, right? Kind of more focused on seeing what the opponent's doing and how do we attack that. And it's obviously worked to a tremendous rate for him. But I love the way one coach did it, right? He was in a meeting with me, we were sitting there talking about certain things that they were doing that I was curious about with regards to football, how they install certain things, how they coach certain things, because I didn't understand it. It was a higher level of football than I, was privy to at that point. And in the middle of that discussion, in the middle of us watching ball together, one of his players comes in, and he had this like 3-clip cut up made for the player on his film system from practice the day before that we had watched, or that I was at. And the player basically had done something that the coach didn't like in their practice habits, whether it be he loafed and we had to correct that, like, hey, you're jogging. This is not okay. This is not allowed here. This is the standard. We cleaned it up real quick, like 30 seconds, one play. And then the next play was him, the player attempting to strip a football one too many times. Offensive player fell down. Offensive player felt some type of way. A fight started. Now we have to explain that this is not what we do here. Hey, 1 rip's good, 2's not, right? And then boom, it was a quick like 5-minute meeting. Player left, out. Now the player understands, A, coach is watching everything that we do. All right. B, there is an actual standard to what we have going on here. C, coach is still coaching me, right? Head coach is still coaching me, not just my position coach. I loved that from that football coach because, we understand that the position coach has a lot to do with our successes and what our standard that we're held to and the guy who's actually coaching me. But for the head coach to set and maintain the practice standards, I thought that was really impressive. I'm going to tell you this right now. Winning football teams and good defensive football teams, they punch the ball out at practice constantly to the point where my athletic department or my athletic training department better figure out how to protect the knuckles because wherever I'm going, if I'm ever coaching, we're going to punch the rock. We're going to punch it all the time because we've taken the head out of the tackle now and we've freed up our arms a lot more. We're rugby-style tackling a lot, Christian. We're keeping our head out of things. We're near foot, near shouldering things where back in the day, we put our head on the ball to create turnovers. So how do we create turnovers now? With our fist, and we have to punch it a lot. We would get an entire coaching clinic tape up of Jacob Rodriguez, and we would show our team what that looks like. And that's how we're going to create fumbles and force fumbles nowadays, apart from strip sacks. Obviously, everybody's teaching that. But we have to practice punching the ball out. We have to practice being Peanut Tillman at all times. And I'm going to tell you right now, the teams that do it in practice have a tremendous success rate in the actual games. It's very clear when I go out and do this. Near foot, near shoulder, punch the ball. Near foot, near shoulder, punch the ball. Make sure you're in that thumbs up button. Punch that thing right now, too. Love this. Spring goal. You ready? We got 3 goals in the spring. We better establish blocking habits. Better be a good blocking team. Thus, we better stack good habits on the tackling front as well. All right, better be able to block, better be able to tackle. And if we're a good blocking team, odds are we'll probably be a pretty good block shed team too.
Yeah.
If our offense is really good at blocking, our defense is going to be really, really good in game at shedding blocks. All right, so we better be a good blocking team, better be a good tackling team, and our eyes better be right. All right, we don't have to be perfect, but our eyes better be. By the end of spring, football players better be looking at the right thing. They better not be busting assignments. They better not have missed assignments at all. Was flabbergasted to find out that I'm pretty sure, I didn't ask every coach that I was at, but about 75% of the places that I went to, I asked this one question: are y'all doing assignment tests? And most of the answers were no. Huh. I was very interested by that. We should be doing those. Mm-hmm. We should be sitting down every single week, every install, honestly. During spring, we're going through installs. We need to be doing install quizzes. Every time we meet, we did install 1 on Monday. Tuesday morning, we're going to do install 1 quiz. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to find out who knows what they're doing and who doesn't. That way, A, we can play the guys who know what they're doing, but B, talk to the guys who don't about what they don't know, and then we know what you don't know and we can address it. That seems pretty cut and dry there. I was surprised that wasn't a unanimous thing across the board. Shocking to hear this, considering I played 10 years ago and we were still under this, like, just run the horse hard. If the horse falls over, it's okay, we'll get a new horse. Mm-hmm. But I sat in on a position or a coach's meeting. They were talking about practice, where the coach was very obvious. The head coach was very openly concerned about burnout already in March.
Oh, wow.
He said verbatim, we will hit a wall, and we can't hit a wall in October.
Right.
So we have to be very conscious about what we're doing right now in the second quarter of our season, right? We have to be very conscious. The second quarter of our calendar year, we have to be very conscious right now that we are not burning these kids out by mid-October. So much so that they didn't have position meetings that afternoon. He sent them home. Surprise, like, hey, you get a day off kind of thing. Afternoon off after we practice and lift, of course.
Right.
But yeah, I was very, very, because like I told you guys before the show, back in the day, if you didn't like the energy, if you didn't like the tempo, if you didn't like which, you just blew the whistle harder, you just yelled louder, you just MF'd a little bit more.
Yep.
And you got a little bit more of an energy exertion, but then you gassed them out and hoped that they came back better tomorrow. Nowadays, it's, hey, they're burnt out. Let's figure out how to reload their chargers. Or reload their batteries, and in the middle of reloading them, hey, let's get them something that's attainable. Maybe it'd be a walkthrough, maybe it'd be an extra meeting. Do something to give them something while their actual body is recovering.
I mean, that makes sense, honestly. If you look at across this sport, what the biggest ways most players recharge their batteries now is they go to a different team.
Yeah.
They mentally check out of the one they're at right now and say, all right, let me start getting my negotiations in order so I can figure out where I'm going next year. It's probably pretty important that you don't burn these players out mid-spring because they can leave you now. It's not like you've signed and you have nowhere else to go. Like, it's a fluid thing. So it makes total sense that you're not burning out these guys.
Mm-hmm. One of the more fascinating things that I learn when I go sit on these meetings is how differently everything is taught. How every guy has their own little spin on what I would think would be a football staple. Like the number of different ways I've taught you that guys teach mesh, the general mesh concept, how we read it top to bottom, or reading it triangles, or we're reading it this way versus man. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? There's a million different ways of teaching that. And I found a new thing that I thought was taught universally one way, but is not. Very similar to that counter log technique. We came back from the first spot, and I was like, bro, they're teaching head placement totally different than I've ever learned from a counter standpoint, backside wrap guy, and was blown away by it, right? Same thing here. Went to a spot, was sitting in a quarterbacks meeting, and they were talking about scramble drill, which for the eternity of this channel, I have taught scramble drill one way and one way only. If you're high, go low. If you're low, go high. Meaning as the quarterback begins to scramble, if I'm on his side of the progression that he is scrambling to, if I'm already high, I'm going to fight my way back to the ball. If I'm already close to him, I'm going to get vertical now, looking for an explosive. For my lifetime in football, that's the way it was taught. That's the way I have been taught. This place taught it differently and taught it. It opened my eyes that most everybody must be teaching it this way based off the way I've seen scrambles work recently, particularly with the team we cover most closely, Georgia. Now, this is the way this place taught it. Again, I'm low, go high, high, go low. This is the way they taught it. Work across if you're away, meaning if the quarterback scrambles right, you're on the left side. Work immediately horizontally right now directly to where the quarterback's at. And if you are on the quarterback side and already worked towards the sideline, you go hard vertical for 3 steps and immediately seek for a back shoulder. And it recalled us almost every scramble last year at Georgia ended up with a back shoulder on the sideline.
Yeah.
And you and we talked about it the show from before the show standpoint. From a completion percentage standpoint, floating to your right, scrambling to your right, having the running back or the tight end or whoever has worked themselves towards the flat in the original play, once the play breaks down, that player turning and running up the sideline and catching a ball over the shoulder of a defender on a reroute is like very low percentage play. However, if that player fights aggressively upfield and then boom, works to a back shoulder, we can get to that ball. A, we can get to that ball at a higher rate, and B, probably not turn it over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I blew my mind, put it on the board, as did we with this one. Points matter, yards don't. Points matter, yards don't.
I feel like that one's fairly self-explanatory.
Fairly obvious. Have you heard the parable of the chicken versus the pig?
Yeah. I had a high school coach that preached upon this.
Oh, yeah. Was it during the while y'all were doing charge drills at practice?
No, this was just like summer practices. This is our motto here.
Chicken lays the egg for breakfast. Pig gives it all. Yeah. Pig got to die for the bacon to get on the grill. Yeah.
Pig gives his life.
Pig do give his life for breakfast at least. I don't know very many people, unless you're a chicken biscuit guy, that requires the chicken to die for breakfast.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Anybody eating a chicken breast for breakfast? Maybe you.
No,
You ain't even that crazy. You're going to scramble some eggs for breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm the same way there. Pull past panic. This was in a linebacker drill.
I'm glad I wasn't sitting in a vicinity for you to say that.
Oh, buddy, I've been talking for 18 minutes straight. If you think I have moisture left in my mouth, you're crazy. Anyways, pull pass panic. This is speaking to linebackers with responsible for hook curls, okay? When they get play action pass, or as some people call it, play pass. You know how a lot of teams are popping the tight end? A lot of teams are running shallow crosses. A lot of teams are running things at the heels of the linebackers and getting quick receptions off of play action. Well, I had one linebacker coach that taught it as, okay, we see the ball in the belly of the back. We see the pull. Now we know it's pass. We immediately get into a panic pedal. Panic as fast as you can, pedal as fast as you can, directly behind you. And what he saw, what he kept showing over and over on film was we'd see linebackers run towards the mesh like they're supposed to, take care of their run responsibilities first, and then just stop once they see pass and try to jump and get into the passing window. No, immediately panic pedal, get into the window of the vision of the quarterback, and you might, A, make that a turn down for the quarterback, but B, you'll have a better chance of actually impacting the passing window. I love that verbiage. Pull, pass, panic. Put this one on the wall. Want to know if you're wrong? Keep talking. He was talking to a young linebacker, and the linebacker was having a tough time being a good communicator, right? Running the defense, controlling things. This goes for quarterbacks. This goes for centers. This goes for anybody that is in a sports position where you are determined that you need to communicate. This does not apply to life. You don't need to be walking around saying stuff that's wrong. Okay, this does not apply to like regular ecosystems.
Right.
This only applies to football, so do not apply this everywhere. But do you want to know if you're wrong? Keep talking. All right? So in other words, as a player, just lead and communicate on the field. And if what you are saying is wrong, it is the coach's job to correct. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. If you want to know you're wrong, keep talking. I love that to a young player that needs to start talking. All right, we'll fix what you're saying. Just say something. All right, that was important there. And then while he was telling this young player this, the kid was like, "Coach, I tried to tell him." And then the coach said, "Hey, you hear anything on that film? Can you hear it?" Mm-hmm. And the guy was like, "No." He's like, "That's right. The film's silent. So I need you to communicate demonstratively." I misspelled demonstratively like 3 times trying to write that note.
That's okay.
Tough one. A defensive note here. And I don't know if I agree with this. You tell me if you do. Fast and violent is better than complex.
Probably depends on your personality.
I think the goal is probably to get the complexities to the point where they can be fast and violent.
Yeah.
Can we not do all 3 by the end of the year?
I mean, I get the sentiment of it of if you have a defensive front, for example, that can just run through everyone in front of them, you don't need to be complex.
I think it's a super fancy way of saying do it hard, don't do it right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't do it right, do it fast.
Yeah.
I think that's the easiest way to put that one. That's a new rundown of that one. Now, this is what I really wanted to talk about tonight. We talked about a bunch of stuff already, but this blew my mind. And I've already given the Patreon audience this one because I couldn't stop talking about it. Anybody heard of Championship Analytics?
No, can't
Like
say the name.
Like is it a company or just like a term?
If I say Championship Analytics, does anything ring a bell?
No.
Other than like analytics to help you win championships?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, you were going to go
associate.
verbatim there. It's a company. It is a company that is obviously an analytical company. Mm-hmm. Let's phrase it this way, because I bet you've heard this one. Ever heard a college football coach after a game when discussing a decision, particularly regarding 4th downs or 2-point conversions or timeout management, say something along the lines of, "I went with what the book said"?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
yes.
definitely heard that.
So you've heard this. Mm-hmm. All right. The book is Championship Analytics. That's what that is. All right. So this is a company that has 108 of 132 football programs in Division I. That's like 92%. Basically, all of college football teams are clients of Championship Analytics, and they are the company that provides the quote-unquote book to all of these coaches. Each coach receives a brand new book every single week detailing their decision-making data on all the what we would call criticals, right? All the critical situations. They have a 4th down chart that tells them when it's mathematically the best decision to go for it on 4th down. They have a 2-point chart that gives them the best or gives them when they should be going for 2 and breaks that decision data down on a chart. It looks really, really cool, boys. They have this like big rectangle with a bunch of a Excel sheet with a bunch of blocks.
Yeah.
And there's a line in there that goes from red to blue to green. The blue means it's your call. The green means we say you should go. The red is punt the football. And it kind of gives them, when you have a green box, you should go. Some teams apply it anytime green box goes, I'm going. Some teams apply it. There's 2 green boxes in a row on that chart, on that line, and down a distance, I'm going to go. Anyways, that's how it's broken down for these guys in terms of the book says when we should go. They also have a clock management chart. Tells you when you should call timeouts. Tells you basically how you go about maximizing squeezing the time. In other words, we got the ball back 2 minutes and 45 seconds. They have 1 timeout. Chart says we need to get X amount of first downs.
So
see what I'm saying?
So is there someone that is on staff?
Oh, you bet your butt.
Has that available
You
at
bet
all
your
times?
ass.
Or
And here's how you know, okay? Here's how you know if they got one. Ever seen a dude standing behind the coach whispering in his ear what the hell to do on certain – that's the book. That's their book guy, all right? And I was sitting in on this meeting. They kept breaking down all these examples, and the book guy was on the TV copy standing right behind the coach, and now the actual book guy, the guy who runs the book, is sitting postseason talking with coach about why they did or didn't do. You see what I'm saying?
Interesting.
So, yeah, that is the book guy. Again, 108 of 132 teams. Everybody got a book guy.
So if everyone has a book guy and everyone has this supposed book that's made by
Is
one
there a
company,
competitive advantage?
Yeah, that's what I was getting
Great
to.
question. Same question I had in my head. Didn't have the balls to ask it in the middle of the room. I don't think I was supposed to really be in.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was invited, but I don't, it wasn't my meeting to be asking questions.
Because it's not like it's blackjack where like the book like higher
So
probability. It's
that
more,
question is going to come really into effect when I start talking about sequencing here in a minute. So do we really have an advantage if the other side knows what we're doing because they have the book too?
Right.
Right. It's a great question. I don't really have an answer to it.
That's fair.
But knowing you're going doesn't help me stop you from making it when you go.
Right.
It just doesn't let me get caught off guard. So yeah, there's that. But they have a clock management chart that tells them when to call timeouts, when to not call timeouts. The 2-minute drill, the 2-minute warning has really impacted the timeout management as well. Basically, the new rule is you do not call a timeout above 2 minutes. So there's that. Let's see here. In short, with the 4th and goal or 4th to go chart, when you should and when you shouldn't go, to summarize that in its most simplistic layman's terms, after the second quarter ball at your own 35, the book's going to tell you to go.
That's crazy.
It is
Whoa.
extremely
That is
aggressive.
Crazy.
It is extremely, extremely aggressive.
Do you think is it aggressive because people are scoring more points?
No, no. I don't know. I think it's just aggressive because they have all the here's how aggressive it is. I sat in on a meeting that showed a national example of UCLA having the ball at their own 17, up 17-14 with 2 minutes and 5 seconds left in the game, 4th and 1. The book said to go.
Wow. I don't know about that.
You know what I mean? It says things that if you go to the microphone and if you're a verbatim by the book guy, which there are football coaches that are 100% by the book. If it says to do something, I'm doing it.
For sure.
Because they believe that you can't, the old adage is you can't date analytics. You have to marry it. If you're going to do it, you got to do it. Some of these people believe this. Some people like Kirby Smart are a gut feeling guy.
Right.
The head coach that I was sitting in on a meeting was, I'm listening to you, but I'm not 100% by it. I'm not going to live by it. Actually, the coach that watched this example said, if I lose because my defense gives up after we punt the football and the defense gives up a touchdown, I'm probably not getting fired unless I do that 15 times over.
Yeah.
But if I go for it right there on 4th and 1 and lose the football game, I'm going to get fired.
But I guess it kind of makes sense in that situation because it probably is more likely that maybe you get a yard than you get a defensive stop in that situation.
So Marion Campbell right here says, is that Justin Fields' fake punt in the book? I got a book stat for you that blew my mind. From 2019 to 2020-25, here are the conversion rates, meaning your actual chances to make it, on 4th and 7 to 10. So 4th and 7 to 10 range, okay? Offensive play, meaning you go out there and run an offensive play. Your percentage chances of converting that are 35.7 over the last 6 years of college football. The conversion rates on a fake punt on 4th and 7 to 10 range in the last 7 years or 6 years of college football is actually 60.8%.
Wow.
Converting fake punts on 4th and 7 to 10 because of a surprise factor or because of a limited data pool, whatever it may be, higher rate of, almost twice as high of rate of conversion rate than a 4th and 7.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a
Offensive
limited data pool. Like, statistically speaking, Shaq is a better three-point shooter than Steph Curry.
It's a great pool.
He's one of one.
Is he?
Yeah, he attempted one three-pointer in his life. He made it. He's a 100% three-point shooter. Steph Curry's not.
Again, would have loved to sit in this meeting and pick this guy apart and gotten to a full feeling of how I feel about analytics.
Yeah.
Wasn't my meeting.
No, yeah, there's definitely not a time and place when you like.
Correct.
Actually, Coach, I don't think you're right on that.
Yeah. This was interesting. He said the number of possessions is down anywhere from 1.5 to 1.65 in an average game. Meaning 10 years ago, if we got 14 possessions, nowadays going into a football game, we're probably only going to get about 12 and a half. However, offensive points and total output have maintained relatively the same.
So the efficiency hasn't gone
Correct.
nowhere.
Offenses have gotten better. And here's my theory. All right. They're not getting it as much, meaning time of possession and actual drive length is a little bit longer. And the amount of total snaps that we're taking offensively is a little bit different. Our general pace of play offensively is slower. And I think the reason being helmet communications, right?
Well, wasn't
we
that
had
instilled?
teams, what's
like,
up?
Wasn't that instilled like only like the last 2 to 3 years?
Correct. And this is when he has like a 10-year data pool, and the average number of possessions over the last 3 to 4 years has started to decline.
Got it.
And that was my theory, was helmet comms. And I actually had a chance to pull him off to the side after the meeting, and he was like, I never thought about that. I'll have to go run the numbers. So he's probably going to now sell that to coaches. Like, I found this new data. But anyways, yeah, we're slowing down and we're better at offense. I think that's because we have the answers now with the helmet comms.
So you're a head coach of a college football program. Are you gut feeling? Are you by the book? What are you? Because me personally, I think I would be a by the gut type of person, because what numbers will never tell you is it'll never take into account like in-game human error, like the ability.
So I asked this.
Yeah.
Because we had this statistic. In the last 10 years of college football teams are converting 75% of 4th and 1s. 75%.
Yeah.
That's a ton.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really, really high success rate in sports, okay? Meaning teams are starting to realize this and they're starting to go for it at a much, much higher rate. But what if we go into a football game and we're 0 for 3? I know the math's telling me to go again the 4th time, but we're 0 for 3. I think I would be a little bit of both guy. Yeah. But I 100% understand the you can't date analytics. Like the models are the models. And I asked this to him. I said, hey, I know what you're saying, like 10 years of data, but the game is transpiring. We have new inputs into your model. We're watching these new inputs. And his answer was, my model has 10 years of data going into it determining whether or not we're actually going to do this. You have 3 brand new inputs. It hasn't changed the 10,000 that we put it into.
Fair.
No, I mean,
but it's like for example, and this is a different example because it's not the same sport, but like you have offensive plays that you install for basketball for certain players for certain moments. You got baseline out of bounds in this situation. Hey, we want to get it to this shooter. Well, on that day,
what if the shooter's ass that day?
Shooter may not be the best option, despite the fact that, hey, he's shooting 44% from the three-point line today, whereas the guy that we probably should give it to today is shooting 38%. Like that day, he's better as opposed to maybe what the analytics. That's why I say, like, I'd probably be a by the gut type of person. Like in-game moments, in-game feels, like that'll never correlate with analytics over the last 10 years.
I mean, like another really good example of this is Georgia versus Alabama in the regular season. Georgia goes forward on a 4th and 1. Obviously, they don't get it. It's a very controversial decision. Kirby Smart could have gone to kick a field goal and, tie the game. That was most likely an analytics-based decision.
Yeah.
It did not work out because, 25% of the time it doesn't work out, and Kirby Smart was lambasted for that. So I think that you have to consider the human element of the game when you have analytics. Like, yes, analytics in the long run will help you, but it can also damn you in certain instances.
So as these analytics are making teams or telling teams to go for it on more and more occasion, basically, like I told you, once you get to that ball to like the 40 on your own side, basically everybody's book's going to be saying go for it anywhere from the 4th and 2 range on. It's like really, really high rates of the book's going to tell you to go. So what that has now changed, or what has now done to offensive play calling is, remember how if you've ever watched film for us, anytime I've said, hey, shot alerts on like, hey, be alert to a shot when we get ball into plus territory on 2nd down, right? 2nd and short, 2nd and medium. We're in an opportunity to hunt now. We're in a huntable count is what I would call that. Well, huntable counts have moved now. If I know I'm going on 4th and 2, I'm hunting on 3rd and 2. You know what I'm saying? I'm hunting an explosive on these 3rd down counts. Now, he said it, one of the most increase in attempts of explosives on an individual down is 3rd and 1 now. 3rd and 1 is now a really, really huntable count because conversion rates on 4th down are 75%. So if we know we're going on 4th and 1 anyways, we can risk an incompletion on 3rd and 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
sense.
it's changing the way these guys are calling plays, ultimately sequencing their plays, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Most explosive down from a success rate, however, is 1st and 10.
That makes sense.
It does. But if you're hunting an explosive on 1st and 10, you better be good at get back plays on 2nd and 10.
For sure. I mean, you have to be there. The efficiency matters.
Absolutely. We can't be living in 2nd and 10s and not be a good getting back to 3rd and 2 football teams. We got to have a plethora of these. Down 17 points, under 7.5 minutes in the 3rd quarter. You are statistically only going to get about 3.5 possessions remaining the rest of the football game. Why is that important? There's 7.5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. You're down 3 scores.
Yep.
You're only going to touch it 3.5 more times. What did I just tell you?
You have to score every possession.
We have to go every single time. So if you're watching your football team nowadays on Saturday and your football coach is punting down 17 points under 7.5 minutes, just know he probably ain't paying attention to the book. You understand? These things, I don't think that's debatable.
Oh, yeah,
we can debate some of these 4th and 1s. There's 12 minutes left in the game and you're up 3 points. Why are you going punt the damn ball? We can debate some of those. Ain't no debating. We got total number of possessions left. We got to go.
No,
we can't mathematically eliminate ourselves from football games.
No, I mean that's way different than the feel of the game type thing. Like you never know when a turnover or a quick possession is going to come out. So
correct.
Does the book say anything about 2-point conversions?
100%. Like I said earlier, it tells them when to start going for 2-point conversions. They actually have a name for it. It's called the Osborne rules. The Osborne family is what they call it. Tom Osborne and Nebraska went for 2 in a national title game because back in the day they did not have ties. It's called the Osborne family rule because he should have gone for it the first time they scored down 14. You go for it the first time when you're down 14 because you have 2 opportunities to get it. I wrote it down in my notes. Basically what you're trying to do, here we go. Where are they at? Where's the Osborne rules? In other words, if I go for it once and get it, we win. If I go for it twice and don't get it.
I understand what you're saying.
The 2-point conversions make me very, very confused.
When you're down 14, you go for it because then if you don't get it, you're still down 8. You can still get a 2-point conversion and tie it.
Correct.
I see what you're saying.
You go for it earlier to give yourself more opportunities to not get it.
This is valuable information because it has always driven me nuts.
Yes.
Why they go for 2 when they're down 14 as opposed to waiting till you actually need it.
Correct.
That brings some peace of mind.
Because when you actually need it, we have to go 1 for 1.
Yeah.
But if I go earlier, I have a chance to go 1 for 2. If I go 0 for 3, we lose and we deserve to lose.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
I asked this because all of these data points, 4th and 1s are 75% conversion rates, all of these things. It feels like the book would be pretty leaning towards, hey, go for more 2-point conversions, which is something we haven't really seen adapted in college football. Like Dan Lanning will pull this out every now and again.
They do have the conversion rates on 2-point conversions. It is right around 50%.
Okay.
That's why.
That makes sense then.
So we want to give ourselves the shots late, but we're not going to get, they're not guaranteed.
No, I mean, it's, field goal extra points are 95% at worst?
Correct.
So, okay, that makes better sense.
I thought this was really interesting. The math in a late game 2-minute situation, if you need 4 points, so you need a touchdown, the math doesn't change until you get inside the 15. from a we're going to throw it into the box like it's easier to score standpoint. So basically what I'm saying is if there's 30 seconds left in the game and the ball's at the 45, plus side 45, we should take 2 Hail Mary attempts as opposed to just trying to get 10 yards twice. Hunting the sideline, you know what I mean? Because A, teams are playing the sideline at the time. B, our math doesn't change until we get inside the 15. They don't think you have a better chance to actually run a conventional play until you get inside the 15 to score a touchdown. So you might as well take 2 hacks at it in a Hail Mary status. That makes sense?
Yeah.
35% recovery rate in college football on surprise onside kicks.
You don't get this in the NFL anymore.
No, you don't.
So that's interesting. 35% is a high rate.
A really high rate.
Yeah. I think it's also.
I'd be scheming, my boy.
Yeah.
I would be scheming. I would make sure our team goes from a 35% rate to somehow being a 65% rate. But
How are
you can't be surprising that much because
Yeah.
then it don't become a surprise.
It doesn't
Right.
surprise.
Yeah,
if you're
so-
labeled as, hey, these guys will do onside kicks.
When
all
I
the
heard
time.
that stat, I probably shouldn't have immediately gone to, think of more surprise on onside kicks. No. Be coaching up onside kick recovery like a mother effer because this dude walked around and told 108 schools this stat. And I just told the world that listens to our show.
And not only that, like the 65% of the time it does not work, you look like a complete dumbass because you just gave the team you're playing the ball on plus
Can't
side
everybody be
territory.
Sean Payton in the Super Bowl?
No.
Yeah,
you know?
no. I mean, like it's all hindsight stuff, but yeah, that 35% is a lot higher than you'd think, but the other 65 gets you fired.
So this brings me to what is the biggest trend, I think, in offensive play calling and defensive play calling, and that would be the term sequencing, okay? This has probably been a term for a long time in football. This is the first time we've talked about it on our network. But these offensive coordinators, these head coaches, the decision makers on these football teams have the book out at their disposal at all times. 108 of 132 teams. It's a lot of football teams that are going, quote, by the book at oftentimes in their games, right? And they know the 4th and goes, meaning the book says we should go when we get to this down and distance on 4th down. So if I know the 4th and goes, it changes how I call plays on 3rd down. Okay? If I know the ball's at the 42-yard line, my own 42, and I know that the 4th and go is 4th and 4, on 3rd and 10, I am way more likely to actually be able to call a run play.
Right.
I can sequence for 4th and 4 instead of calling a play on 3rd down to try to attempt to get the sticks. Does that make sense? Coordinators are changing how, particularly in the middle of the field, how they are calling plays. On 3rd and 10, ball at the midfield in 2020, right? We would play the sticks for 3rd and 10. Yeah. We would get to a 4th and 10. You would punt the football and try to coffin corner me. That is not how college football is played anymore. College football is now played 3rd and 10, ball at the midfield. I'm calling a play to get back into 4th and 3 because I'm going.
Yeah.
That has totally changed how we call plays. It's also totally changed drive charts. How long I have the football, a.k.a. Indiana. How many plays I'm taking on my way to a touchdown, right? First down success rate is directly correlated to wins in college football now per championship analytics. And it makes sense. The amount of first downs I get directly correlates to the amount of times I will win. If I get more first downs, I have the football long, it's game control. Simple math.
Makes sense. I wonder what this is going to kind of kill in regards to how the game's played. Like, analytics has obviously gotten in the NBA, and three-pointers analytically is the move to make.
Dude, this is better. The worst play is a punt. From a visual standpoint, the worst play is a punt. The more high-pressure situations on 4th down we can give the viewer, so much better. The corner 3 sucks. This is making everybody go to the rack and dunk every time they get the ball. It's 4th and 1.
No, yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
I do wonder, like, what is going to be the play where, like, the mid-range jumper is dead in the NBA. What's going to be the equivalent to that in football? Like, obviously the punts will be much smaller, but from a schematic standpoint, is there anything that, as a coordinator, you will shy away from because analytically it just no longer makes sense to run that play? The returns are diminishing on that. Like, running up the middle, is that going to be something that we get rid of?
Yeah, like 3rd and 1 halfback dives.
Yes.
Miss me. If the ball is at the 50 and you are running a halfback dive on 3rd and 1, when we know we're going on 4th and 1, you should probably be doing something a little bit more, unless you know for a fact I'm about to mow these dudes on 3rd and 1.
We're just trying to walk it.
Yeah, unless you're trying to do that. I get that. Assert dominance, whatever. But we better be getting a little bit more creative on 3rd and shorts if we know we're going on 4th downs, is what I would say. Also question, guys, that even if you aren't going to marry these things, you should be paying, I would imagine, for these numbers if everybody else is going to be doing it. These other 24 teams, unless it's a budget thing, and I get it, we're at a very tight sport now, budget's the budget. But you should be knowing what the other team's being told to do.
Right.
If it's available to you. Because they have it, so you should have it, is the way I would look at that. Man, we went way longer than I thought we were going to do on that. Hey, I did some reading today, so the audience didn't have to.
What'd you read?
I read the executive order from President Trump. I read so you don't have to. Here is the summary on the executive order from the President of the United States. Key first line in this one, quote, urges federal agencies to bolster effectiveness of rules with violations potentially rendering schools unfit for federal grants and federal aid. In other words, the executive order hopes to establish a set of rules, or hopes to urge Congress to establish a set of rules that are thus we can actually implement those rules. And if you are a violator of these rules, we can hopefully, according to this executive order, pull federal aid for those universities. Don't know if you know how university budgets work, but federal aid is kind of important.
Yes.
Okay. But anyways, the proposed rules in this executive order: 5 years of eligibility with a one-time transfer rule, which is the structured transfer rules that they are hoping to get out of the executive order. You can transfer once. Ensuring medical care for athletes, I would assume. This was interesting. They hope to implement rev share in a manner that, quote, protects and expands women's and Olympic sports. If that ain't got the NCAA's handprints all over it and presidents all over NCAA's handprints all over, I don't know what does. They're always out looking for protection of Olympic sports and NCAA, women's sports at the expense of the money in the pockets of the revenue-producing sports. This is me speaking, by the way. The NCAA's main problem, in my opinion, is that they don't want to come out of their own pocket to pay the expenses for the women's lacrosse team. They would rather take it out of the pocket of the football player that they're upset's making $750,000. That's Brooks Austin speaking, not the executive order. But let's get back to the executive order. They also want to ban pay-for-play. They also want protections against unscrupulous agents.
Oh, that's a new word.
It is. What's it mean?
I don't know.
Maybe untrustworthy folks who ain't actual agents, street agents.
Ill intent is
ill intent.
The synonym
folks
for
who
it.
robbing them.
Having or showing no moral principles. Not honest or fair.
Scammers and robbers.
There you go.
Scamming and robbing agents. Hopefully we get some protections for those. The order also calls on Congress to quickly pass legislation. We'll talk about that. And it also orders the NCAA to, quote, update its rules by August 1st. That's pretty quick. It also prevents pro players from coming back. Shout out you, Nate Oates. It also should be noted that this is Trump's second executive order with regards to college sports. The other one was the SCORE Act, I believe.
Yes.
The SCORE Act is currently being absolutely obliterated in Congress and in court. So the first one got thrown into court. This one, per the president's own admission, is expected to get thrown into court. However, the hope is that this one is, quote, and this is verbatim, more comprehensive, meaning, I guess, harder to deny in court, or at least has a better framework going into court to withstand the court's upholdings. And even the president admitted, like I said, this one will be thrown into court as well. The hope is that this lays the groundwork for Congress to actually create legislation. This is my opinion, and again, it's hard to talk about this stuff without getting political because it's been brought into politics. This is very much so a bipartisan issue, okay? Meaning there are two thoughts and two ways of thinking, as there is in every political discussion nowadays. One side believes it should go back to the way it was, that we should have a limitation on how much and how athletes make money. And the other side believes you should just make as much as you're willing to actually make. And there probably should be no guardrails. And it's a bipartisan issue. And nowadays, bipartisan issues don't really get solved in Congress, not to my knowledge.
No.
But realistically, for what people would like NIL to be, you're not telling somebody they're limited in what they could make. Because you're limiting what a school could pay you for playing football, but you're not limiting overall what they could make as a college athlete. Because I could go out and get tons of sponsorships and make as much money as I want as long as I'm actually doing these sponsorships. So you're not really limiting what they could make.
So I think the problem that they're going to have is nobody on the Democratic side of things will say we need to add regulation to stop people from paying these kids. It just won't happen. Right? The idea that pay for play should, like, this is how some people think. Pay for play should exist because I'm worth what you're literally willing to pay me.
Right. However
you pay me, it doesn't matter. I'm worth what I'm worth. And the higher it gets, the better for me. And that's how it works. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it ultimately gets solved and figured out. Do we want to play a special edition of Greg Says?
Yes, please.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited for Greg Says. It's been a minute.
So do you want traditional Greg Says or do you want first edition, special edition of Greg Says?
Let's go with tradition first.
All right. This is actually a special edition of traditional edition of Greg Says. Greg McElroy says that we 100% did not go to the moon.
This is
okay.
This is the perfect way to encapsulate what the offseason in college football is like. One of the biggest mouthpieces for ESPN in the college football realm has nothing to talk about, so he's slamming his fist on the table and saying
it was actually just standard off-season radio, and they were filling probably 4 hours, and Kubelik wanted to talk about the moon landing because Greg McElroy doesn't believe in the moon landing.
Even so.
And to be honest with you, he was kind of cooking. I listened to it today.
Right.
I'm kind of on Greg's side here in the sense that, I got more technically, or so I've been told, I got more technology on my cell phone right now in my hand than they had during the moon landing in the actual entire vicinity of technology that they could actually get to the moon, which makes me wonder, why the hell haven't we gone back in the last 50 years? But apparently we're going.
Well, we're
not Artemis 2.
We're not touching down.
We're not touching down.
To the folks out there in NASA, here's what I would say. Why don't y'all just confirm that flag's out there? Why don't y'all just stop by, take a selfie, put it up on the tweeter, and then we can all shut up?
Yeah,
but nope, we're going to take laps around the moon to prove that we did it.
The American public's going to believe pictures.
Right. Even the pictures of the moon that are being submitted right now, that's AI. That's fake. That's not real. But going back to your question of why haven't we been back, do you know how expensive it is?
We did kind of bankrupt the KGB with that, didn't we? Or
it's
the Russians?
Very expensive.
Yeah. Wasn't that kind of the purpose of the moon race, to kind of make sure we was making them think we was trying to go?
Yes.
So they could spend the money trying to go.
Well,
shout out Sputnik.
All I'm saying is it's very expensive, and persuading people to allocate a bunch of money for us to just go back to the moon.
We're paying streamers enough nowadays. Why don't they just go up there and put it on Twitch?
Well, they did that with Katy Perry. And
she was twitching it?
No, but they did a stream where they went to outer space.
On stream?
I don't think it was stream, but they were obviously vlogging it and everything.
I'm trying to figure out that bandwidth. I can't even walk around New Orleans without my stream dropping.
So
they went to the moon?
What's the special edition of Greg Says?
Oh, no, I didn't even get it. Hey, speaking of the moon, speaking of outer space, top 5 aliens in college football history. Do you want this?
Yeah,
sure.
I like a good top 5.
OLI, Sean Oakman. Number 5, Derrick Henry. Don't want to let that simmer too much. Number 5, Derrick Henry. Anybody with 42 totes in an SEC championship game not named Trey Mason gets put on this list.
Valid.
Fair.
Number 4, Cameron Newton.
Understandable.
Middle name Isaac. Number 3, Julio Jones. Probably should have been on the board.
Definitely should have been on the board.
Hindsight, if we wanted a Bama player, Julio Jones probably the one.
Yeah. That's on me. Maybe next time I get, self-consumed and want to put my name on a big-ass wall. We'll put Julio up there first. Number 2, Chase Young. If you know, you know.
Oh, yeah.
If you've ever walked up on Chase Young, you're like, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
What?
walked up on
What?
him, or just go back and watch him in college football. He was literally
Honestly,
unstoppable.
had he not paid for his girlfriend to go to a bowl game, probably breaks the sack record.
Probably.
I forgot about that story.
Yeah, that's pre-NIL era.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when,
it was.
you know, giving your girlfriend the beats from the bowl game is technically illegal, and you can get suspended for it. Interesting. Number 1, Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, he was literally called Megatron, which
Yeah.
is an alien.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. Special edition of Greg Says. You want this one?
Yeah, I do.
Greg Mechanico?
Mechanico. I'll say Mechanico.
Mechanico?
I don't know about
Probably,
Mechanico.
yeah.
Greg Mechanico says that Auburn coaches under the Hugh Freeze regime really knew how to make it rain.
Oh, dude, yes. This story.
Special
is
edition of
perfect.
Greg Mechanico. If you don't know, Greg Mechanico played for college football at West Alabama and then transferred to Auburn and was at Auburn during the year that Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers went on to play in the Music City Bowl against Maryland. Would you like to tell the audience what they did that week, or should I?
This isn't about them making money.
No, it's about them throwing money.
Oh.
They already made the money. It's time to throw the money. They finna throw the money.
Okay, now I know where
They
we're going
finna
with
throw the
this.
money at Music City Bowl. Now, it's all allegedly. This is his firsthand knowledge of this story on his TikTok and his stream or whatever. But played at Auburn. We looked it up today. This is verified. Played at Auburn. He tells a story about how the last team meeting that they had the day before they went to play Maryland, a game in which they lost by 18 points. He said that the day before they went to the game, they had their last team meeting. And in that team meeting, Hugh Freeze stands up in front of the meeting and says, "You are not to go to strip club X. You are not to go out to this club. You are not. We better not hear about y'all being there. Y'all better not be going to this adult entertainment place." So player says immediately, about 20 of them round together, they go into the place that they not supposed to be at. They walk into the place, and what do they see? Other than Auburn football coaches throwing stacks of cash. My man said he saw one of his position coaches throw a stack of ones in a way in which he had never seen before in his life. He said he threw it down on the ground so hard that it looked like it got shot back out of a cannon back up off the dance floor.
That's impressive, honestly.
An experienced man, one might say.
Yeah, very much so. Knew how to throw that money.
Can't say I've ever
This is
thrown
the
that much money.
least surprising Auburn football story I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
But
this is
Jonathan, they play gospel music at practice. Only gospel music.
Whatever, dude.
Couldn't play 2 Chainz, but you can throw that money.
I'm sure we all know people in our lives that are common churchgoers that may not live that life outside of the doors.
Yes.
Just saying.
So that was your surprise episode of Greg Says. Greg says Auburn was out there wilding.
Man,
Perhaps the least surprising Greg Says moment I think we've ever had.
You want an edition of Marcus Says?
I was going to say this.
What does Marcus say?
Everybody knows Brooks is back because the local 45's back.
Bro, you wilding right now. We went 40 minutes on football pilgrimage notes.
We gave extra local time last week, so we made up for it. So you're good to go. Just letting you know.
Damn, that's a me thing? They think that's a me thing.
I don't know. We got accused of it last week too. It's just an us thing, you know. But it was too easy.
You want an
for the
episode
job.
of Marcus Says?
Yeah, I do.
Sure.
Yes.
Marcus Freeman says he's pro fighting at practice.
Oh, him and Dion both, huh?
Yeah. But I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I think
I mean-
I'm okay with it. And I've gone to a lot of places, and there's different rules everywhere. I went to one place where if you fight, you're done for the day. They'll kick you out. See you. Both of you. Gone. Went to another place where it was like, I'm not saying we encourage it, but we're not going to be mad. I went to another place where it was like, fight number 1, okay. Fight number 2, everybody on the line. Y'all want to take my practice time, I'll take yours.
I have had one of those.
I think that's where I would reside. I think I would reside with, we treat the first one like a hockey fight, meaning it's those two. Anybody come up off the sideline, we're running.
Right.
The second fight, y'all just want to fight today. That's not okay. We're going to run. How would you go about it? Would you be a no-fights guy? What would you do?
It's very hockey. Like, you got to get a feel for it. Like, sometimes two dudes are just, you're in the moment. The practice is intense and things like that. But at the same point, if it's a repetitive thing, like you said, if it's taking into practice time, you got to do something about it. So kind of case by case, I would assume.
Once the helmet come off, we got to blow the whistles up, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't just, like, let them go until they're finished.
Yeah.
Like, you got to.
That's what I'm saying. Hockey fight in the stance of helmet comes off, or that's not the hockey fight. One's on the top of the other.
Yeah.
Once one's on top of the other, or someone goes to the ground, whistles. That's it.
Let the fellas get some anger out and then go back to the huddle.
Absolutely.
You can't just, like don't treat it like a UFC fight. We're like, oh, he's still fighting. He's still conscious. Keep it going. No.
He's still conscious.
Can't do that.
We got a whole another hour coming up right now, and it is our best hour, our local hour. While we're in the middle of this break, and he goes outside to defame my backyard, will y'all make sure you hit that thumbs up button?
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into the Film Guy Network for another loaded hour of content here on the show. We finna talk them dogs. You want to start with Hoop Dogs, Jonathan?
Oh, do you want to talk transfers? Is that
No,
what you
I'm
wanna
good.
talk about?
We got notes on the scrimmage. We have scrimmage 1. We'll have scrimmage 2 this coming up weekend, and then we'll have G-Day scrimmage April 17th.
18.
I thought there was
18.
always 3 scrimmages before G-Day. Why am I making that up?
Because there's 3 scrimmages in the spring.
There's 3 The
They
G-Day.
count G-Day?
G-Day is the third scrimmage.
I always thought there was 3 and then there's G-Day.
Now, to be honest with you, the first Saturday scrimmage or the first Saturday practice of spring ball when they put the shoulder pads on.
Okay, maybe
there's-
that's why.
There's 11 on 11.
I think
mean,
that's why I'm mistaking it.
They're getting good on good. I mean,
Okay.
that's what I laugh about these, like, everybody, myself included, like tonight, we about to dump spring scrimmage intel. To be honest with you, man, every spring practice I go to, if they have shoulder pads on, there's an 11 on 11 good on good period going on for a good 40 minutes at the end of every practice. That's what spring practice is about. Spring practice is about making sure that we have resting days in between so that when we're practicing, we banging and clanging. And we're okay doing that because we don't have to come back tomorrow and do it again. We got a day off. We can we'll lick our wounds and all that good stuff. We can come back and get after it again the next day. I kid you not. Now, it's changed a lot since I played. But when I was in college, every college football program was spending 12 periods every single day in spring when they were in pads scrimmaging.
Yep.
So Saturday scrimmage went from, instead of 12 periods a day, we got 18 periods of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. Ain't that much different than Monday and Thursday or Tuesday and Thursday of that week. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I would imagine, I mean, for Christ's sakes, they go good on good in season at Georgia. They call it Bloody Tuesday, where there's an hour of good on good at the end of every day. If you don't think they're going an hour of good on good every single time they strap it up in the spring, you don't know Kirby Smart. That's the way I would envision they practice.
Yeah.
And even if it's like, what do you call it, situational football, where it might not be good on good or one versus one, but it's a third down period where all 22 football players are on the field and it's 3rd and 7 and we're in thud period. Mm-hmm. That's as close to a scrimmage as we can get without tackling.
Right.
And hell, nowadays, even these spring scrimmages, I highly doubt they go full 4 quarters tackling to the ground. You know what I mean? There might be a thud period at some point when we go up there. But anyways, I got notes on scrimmage anyways. You want it?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. We'll be brief here. The real details, the nitty-gritty of these nugs, as we call them, was over on patreon.com/Brooks Austin Saturday night. So, I don't know, it was well over several thousand words worth of intel on what actually went down at practice and scrimmage from what we've heard. Not just from Saturday scrimmage, but like I said, from the totality of spring. It's over there on patreon.com/Brooks Austin. We'll give you the cliff notes of the nugs, cliff nugs, if you will, right here, right now. Number 1, tight ends is a problem. Elias Williams, a problem. We told you about that going into spring practice. We had a source tell us, hey, it ain't going to be no like Elias Williams package, like, hey, he's out on the field in this certain set. Nope. Elias on the field, the package is when we go 12, who's the second tight end? But 10's going to be on the field. And he's really, really special. He's going to be really, really special. I've heard great things about Jaden Riddell this spring, like a lot more than normal. Like I've always heard good things about Jaden, but it's like something's clicking type of things about Jaden Riddell. Obviously has been a gorgeous specimen from day one.
The whole time.
I mean, wow. Like just looks like the part. So there's that. And it sounds like things are clicking for him. Everyone knows Ethan Barbour was a hit from day one. Sounds like he is healthy and continuing to be that. Who other? Prothrow. But I think Prothrow might get used very similar to the way Elias got used until late in the season last year.
Yeah.
It's like more of like he's comfortable running routes and catching the ball right now. Let's highlight him doing that his freshman year, and let's grow into whatever he grows into as he gets older. But right now, let's do what he's doing. Let's do what he's good at, and let's let him do that. Sounds like he's made plays at a really, really high clip as well. I mean, it's a tough matchup, dude. He's 6'6", and he can run like a deer. So that's tough. Speaking of tough, Chris Cole and Elijah Griffin sound like they're going to be what you need them to be.
Good.
And I've talked about this on this network this offseason. Y'all need – and I say we a lot when I get into these player personnel discussions. If we are going to be the team that we need to be, we need Elijah Griffin to go from, hey, that guy was really good as a freshman to that guy's a problem. What do we do with 90? What's the hell's going on? And it sounds like that's what's happening.
We did a segment last week about players that need to go from really good to great.
Yeah.
And Elijah Griffin and Chris Cole were two of the most prominent names.
From what we hear, it sounds like that's already happening. You know where Chris Cole spent his spring break?
Where?
With the pass rush specialist we met in Indianapolis.
Oh.
He who shall not be named.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where he was at. So he might be getting home a little bit at a higher rate this year because
it's funny because I think
he's been working with a guy who teaches you how to get home.
I think it was Terrell Foster that mentioned this on one of the podcasts that they do at Georgia, and it was Chris Cole as a pass rush specialist is really cooking right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Running back room. Deep.
Been a minute since we've been able to say that.
How about Peanut with a little FPE?
Good.
Yeah.
Cat Peanut.
How about Peanut with a blue hat?
Okay.
Yeah. Nate, Chauncey, Dowdle, Bo Walker, Peanut with a blue hat. I mean, it's deep. It's a deep room. I had one source tell me, I'll spoil this. One source tell me deepest it's ever been since I've been here. He's been there as long as I've been here.
So 2019.
Yep.
So that would have been when they had.
You got to go back to
That's
the three-headed
Holyfield,
monster.
That's Holyfield,
Yeah.
Swift, James Cook, Kenny McIntosh, and Brian Harry.
Deep.
That's
deep.
a pretty deep room.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of deep, O-line room deep. I think they got 10 guys.
That's probably the best
I
thing
think they
to
got
hear.
10 guys they think they can go play with right now.
Of all the things you've said
Ooh.
so far, that's probably the best thing to hear because depth was the biggest question there. It wasn't really about starter questions. It was like, who are the guys behind them? You have no idea. Hearing that is probably the best thing we've heard so far.
Ja Jackson hype?
It's another year. It's another year of spring football.
I think it might be real this time.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
Like real enough where it might – selfishly, this sucks. I want to see him just play left tackle for the next 30 games before he's inevitably a top 6 pick. But I think like so much of an option at tackle that Juan Gaston might play guard during the spring game.
As long as it doesn't take away from Juan Gaston being on the field.
See, I'm with you.
So is this breaking
I'm with
up
you,
where-
but I want it all. I want
yeah,
Juan
yeah.
Gaston at tackle. That's what I want.
So
because I don't want a situation selfishly where I only get to show the world 12 games of Monroe Freeling. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want 14 starts at tackle for Juan Gaston. I want 30, and I want to watch all of them, and I want to consume that. Now, a 6'10 left tackle might be fun to watch too if he is this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If he's going to be what they are saying he shows signs of potentially being. But I'm with you. It's kind of been, hey, man, the days that are on, he might be one of our most promising tackles. I had one guy say, still to this day, like some version of if it clicks. I'm like, man, we've been we've been waiting for it to click
Yeah.
consistently for a long time, but it sounds like it might be there.
And I know he hasn't played football his entire life. So, like, hearing it.
Middle school football.
Yeah,
His
hearing
entire adult life.
Ja Jackson using the phrase of if it clicks, like, that's not too surprising compared to, like, someone who's been playing it their entire life, like, oh, he's entering his third year. If it clicks, he'll be good.
The days it's clicking are more consistent.
Okay.
Though,
That's
so
good.
that's
Hey, that's promising.
the positive.
Look,
And again, there is no prettier lump of clay that we could possibly deal with.
Yeah.
And it should be noted, when you are this big, your margin for error is that much larger. You don't have to play perfect.
if at worst case what you're telling me is, hey, he's not a starter this year, he's still not that ready, so we're going to have Juan Gasson and Ernest Green out there. If at worst case you're telling me that he's a viable option as a rotation guy at tackle, that's great news too.
Which I can also tell you right now, because we know football and everybody listening to this knows football, I can guarantee you 3 tackles are going to play at some point this year
Yeah.
for Georgia.
Yeah.
You're going to need them. Okay, so it's an answer, and that's the good thing. Cortez Smith, but everybody knew Cortez Smith was going to be really, really good. If you watch the profile coming out of high school, it's very obvious. Okay, just to give you the rundown 411 on Cortez Smith. Cortez Smith was a born-to-compete player of the year in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. He entered high school and started at Parkview, a 7A school at center, the day he enrolled, okay, till the day he left. He was a top 200 football player. It is not news to anybody that studied Cortez Smith that he was going to be like really, really good. So it's good that he is that, but it was kind of like honestly, when he was 14 years old, it was like circled in pen. He might be the next SVP. Just like guaranteed pedigree, automatic high ceiling. Like we know with our high floor, we know this kid's going to play 3 years for us. That's what he was coming out of high school, and that's what he's going to be. Honestly, very Zyke Heltney from a standpoint, but it's like he's going to play way earlier.
Zakai.
Zakai. Zakai is going to play by end of year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like a kind of...
Zakai Helton is going to be a freak.
Yeah. That felt like kind of a foregone conclusion 3 weeks ago almost.
Yeah.
Like even just the rumors then of like, hey, this freshman kid's different. Like me and Jay were talking about it last week. There has not been a media availability that Georgia's had this year where Zakai Helton's name has not been mentioned at least once. And that's unprompted. That's prompted. Like, he has been the guy everyone's talking about.
You know, never mind. I was about to do something really douchey and pat myself on the back. I did discover him, Jonathan. But players like that, man, even if you find him at 14, it's like he was going to be found.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, I get so frustrated when people are like, I knew he was going to be one of them ones when he was 14 years old. Like, brother, he was 6'6", 275 pounds, and ran a 4.5 at 14
That was
years
like
old. I hope you did. I hope you knew.
The other day, LeBron said something like, I knew Cooper Flagg was going to be good when I was watching him in the AAU days. I'm like, yeah, no duh, dude.
Like,
did you watch him in the AAU days?
Buddy, he was 6'9", yamming,
Yeah.
like at 15. I hope.
So, yeah, I'm sure you did think he was going to be really good.
There's a lot of that in our world where it was like, oh, I knew first. It's like, who cares if you knew first? By the end of it, everybody knew. So yeah, let's head to the board because there was a commitment while I was gone. Abram Eisenhower.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a more you was born into royalty name than Abram Eisenhower?
Yeah, I'm shocked he's not running for president. I'll be shocked if he's not running for president down the road.
One day. 34th president, Dwight?
I don't know the number,
can't
but
be right.
he was a president, yes.
That can't be right.
34 is about right, yeah.
Really?
About that, yeah.
Huh. What years? Do we know?
Eisenhower
I'm
would
trying to figure out generations removed from Dwight D.
Eisenhower would have been late 50s. So right in the lead up to, yeah.
I'm going to pull a LeBron. I knew the first day I laid eyes on this guy who was going to play at Georgia one day. I told Jonathan. We saw him. I said, that kid is going to commit to Georgia one of these days. Did I not?
Yeah, that's true.
I was also reading a book at the time, 6 pages in. It's a great book.
Yeah, tell us about this book you're reading.
Yeah, let's get to the board. I'm actually reading Saban's coaching book. I've been reading that sucker for about 3 years now. Woo! We got some heavy right here. We're at right tackle.
Yeah, first clip.
Oh yeah, we got some heavy. All right, here we go. Boom. All right, come get you some Colquitt Packer. Go get you some. Now at left tackles. Oh, so we flip sides. We're ambidextrous.
Ooh, pass pro on second clip.
Yeah, dude. We got a Texas A&M quarterback playing quarterback right here. We got to protect him. Get them hands out. Get the head out.
Oh, we've seen this kid play live.
Boy. Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, of course we saw him live. I told
told
Jonathan he
us.
was going to go to Georgia.
You did. My bad.
Good inside body lean, hands locked out. Finish. Oh, big foosball game right here. How about that?
Yeah, there's Lowndes.
Oh, yeah,
football
Bubba.
stadium.
We are downhill. We are downhill at Lowndes Viking football. What are we in right here? Is this the Wing T Wildcat?
Gotta be a short play, 4th and 1 type.
Hey, look. Hey, let me tell you something. If y'all high school football coaches don't start giving me end zone cut access in these highlight tapes, why can't I see the back cut of that?
Especially when you're shooting from the freaking moon right here.
I know, like, y'all. Come on. Never mind. Come on. I know y'all got the end zone cut. Why can't I see it?
He has a good base.
Finish. Nobody. We got perfect tech. I just want to see some finish. I want to see you stay attached and run your damn feet. Let's see here. I mean, we got such good body lean, good patient hands. I do think. What are we? We're 6'5", 290, Jonathan.
Let me look him up.
I think that's what I saw.
I think just under 300.
6'5", 280.
I'm trying to figure out. We have guard twitch in our feet, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if we got tackle twitch. Question at guard becomes how ultimately strong are we? Can we take a 3 technique and move him against his will? That's my biggest question about interior offensive linemen. See, it's a great movement. I want to see our feet. I want to see where our hat and our hands struck. I know we buried the guy. I just don't know how. I would like to know how. And I get it. Like some of these schools we watch, they don't have the amount of people to have an end zone cut. But I know for a fact this school has an end zone cut. Trim the fat on that. Oh! We kind of got jacked up right there, though, didn't we?
Yeah,
He had better pad level than us, but
that's the David Sanders rep that everyone's talking about.
yeah. This is the old board drill twist and turn. But I love that we turned him out of the hole.
Yeah, no, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Oh, and the step over.
He stepped over.
Yeah, he did.
Not a great step over.
I got to go find that Monroe Freeling clip from the Ole Miss or from the Alabama game where he runs 40 yards down the field and walks over somebody that he didn't knock over just to give it to him.
This is also a kid who very clearly knows his rules. The way he came off that double team for a linebacker in that last play.
Okay.
I missed him on this one.
Here's what I will say. I go to Lowndes every year. I'll be at Lowndes in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. The last 3 years, they've told me this is one of our guys. This is going to be one of the ones. So they've known. I think they know. Everyone knows something that we can't quite see. There's still a lot left here. And if you see the kid's body, there's still a lot of muscle mass still to be had.
Oh, yeah.
Like we can put a lot of good weight still on this football player, and he's still really, really good.
I mean, he's only 280 right now.
Yeah. Here's what I have come to learn about what they've got going on, or at least I think. This is a hypothesis, not confirmed. I think their approach with line of scrimmage football players, particularly on the offensive line, if you're big enough and good enough, and if the finances make sense enough, you're an automatic take. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
The 3-star that doesn't cost $800,000 to get on campus but can actually play for us is like the most valuable football player available right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they're also taking
the Zakai Helton addition. If Ryan Mosley and Craig Dangers got expensive, I think late because it got so big of a recruitment.
Right.
Or might have. It probably should have. If it didn't, improper agent management representation probably should maximize the value is what I'm saying there. But if we can get players that are cheap that can play for us, that is really, really valuable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the amount of years that you're going to spend higher values on that player are fewer too.
And if he needs to develop, if he needs to get bigger, he better not cost a lot of money while he's developing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's very obvious they're taking high floor guys as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a guy who very clearly does things technically correct. He's, even if he's not the strongest, fastest, you can coach those things. You can train those things into them.
I do think it's really, really important to almost over-analyze the 2027 offensive line signing class. Any ideas why?
Because the 26 class was so bad?
No. 26 class was really, really good. Had a bunch of high-floor football players. Come on, guys. This is easy. Chat's probably already got it. Why is it really important that we evaluate and overanalyze what's going on in this year's offensive line class?
Because different quarterbacks coming up?
It's Phil Rauscher's first year as the guy. It's Phil Rauscher's first year as the offensive line coach. So we are going to find out what his identity of the room is going to look like. Because at Georgia, despite the fact that NIL is very important nowadays, at Georgia, your position coach has ultimate final say on his room.
Right.
They decide what that room looks like, what that room feels like, and who is in that room. All right? It is, Kirby's final say and the ultimate collective side on how they can actually afford what's going on in that room. But the position coach ultimately defines the identity of that room. So we'll figure out what that looks like this coming up year from a standpoint of what he identifies as important.
Okay.
The one that really hammered this home to me was, he's ironically just left, but when Uzo first got here, it's like, buddy, you are recruiting a total different animal.
Yeah.
Like you went from recruiting boxers to now you want show ponies. Like you went totally different. So be interesting to see what Rauscher does this year at that offensive line room. Now, that's a guy who's been added to the offensive line room, a room that we just got done with the intel telling you is a deep room. Mm-hmm. What's the deepest room at the University of Georgia? How would you rank the rooms?
So here
we did this totally differently. I can already guarantee it.
So that's what I was going to ask this question of so I did my rooms of what is the deepest room of how many known commodities, guys that I know about are on this roster that I could go into a game and I already know what they're going to be able to offer me.
So here's how I did it. I just wrote them down.
So
I did it like this. The linebacker room I feel like it's got 6 really good players and they play 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So that bitch is deep.
Well,
so I put them 1.
So my point of this would be wide receiver room you could say is deep.
But not known.
Just not known.
Yeah.
We don't know how deep it actually is.
Just to let you know, they're at the very bottom of my list.
They didn't make the very bottom for me.
They have a bunch of names, but not a bunch of knowns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
By that logic, quarterback is mine.
Is what? One of your
very bottom.
Well, they're number 8 for me. So, yeah, they're second to the bottom.
We know who Gunner is. We don't
know anything about from an in-game standpoint. Sounds like Ryan Montgomery's having a good spring ball. But, yeah, you're right. We don't know much about anything.
So that's why I put quarterback at the very bottom of my list.
Okay.
I have quarterback higher on my list just because of the amount of players that you have rotating. If everything goes right,
sure,
you only need one quarterback. Now, injuries are obviously, God forbid, but you need 3 to 4 running backs in a room. You need 5 to 6 wide receivers in a room. You need 7 or 8 offensive linemen in a room. You only need one quarterback throughout the season. That's why I have it as kind of.
You know how much a backup quarterback costs in the Power 4 now?
Probably not cheap.
$600.
Take another guess.
Higher?
I'm go probably $850.
Oh, man.
$800,000 is a baseline salary for a backup quarterback.
Golly. Well, the top of my list is tight end.
Tight end is also the top.
Tight end is the deepest room in my opinion. Right.
I put them number 2.
Ooh, behind linebacker?
Yep.
Okay. Behind linebacker is actually number 3 for me.
I have linebacker too.
I have running back number 2.
I have them number 4.
Okay.
I have
all
running
right, so
backs
we have
3.
some variety here.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you have after that? After 3? Sorry.
Here was my reason behind those. All right, linebacker, like I said, I think there's 6 really, really good ones in there. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna miss somebody rattling them off, but whether it be Raylan, whether it be Chris Cole, whether it be Justin Williams, whether it be Terrell Foster, whether it be Zayden Walker, okay, if Nick Abrams plays this year, they got a bunch AJ Crua. They got a bunch of really, really good football players. And they really only play 2 of them.
Yeah.
So that to me was one of the – and same to that extent, the tight end room is so deep. there have been, this is going to get somebody really, really juiced up in the chat today. Because this is one of those programs that if I say this, it's like, oh my God, I hope they do it. 15 personnel. That's how deep the tight end room is.
Whew.
There is rumors that they might dust off a 15 personnel package.
What play would you even run out of that?
It's not what play, it's what formation.
Yeah.
I don't care what plays you run out of it. What formation are you lined up in if you are in 15 personnel?
Yeah.
Albeit, one of those tight ends is Caden Prothrow, who's kind of a wide receiver, and the other one is Elias Williams, which you try covering him with anything other than a safety or a corner and see how much space we create. So, yeah, there like tons of great questions. What does it look like? What plays do we run? The discussion is, do we have 5 good enough tight ends where they might be better than, it might behoove us to play them all at once and just see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, that's why that's the deepest room.
Could you imagine the shit that would be taken in the player personnel department of the opposing box?
That's what I was about to say.
How do you match that? That gets thrown out there. What do you do?
You got to burn a timeout.
Yeah.
You literally do.
You burn a timeout and then figure it out.
This might be the new Kirby Smart force a timeout.
The new meta?
The 15 personnel force a timeout meta.
Talk to me. Number 3, I put offensive line. I could have listened to running back here, but I think there are 4 knowns of like really, really good players that we already know are really, really good on the offensive line, and like 5 names that we can throw in there that we know are going to be really good players.
See, I had offensive line further down on my list. And maybe I'm regretting it a little bit right this moment, but at face value with what I know right now, I know that Georgia has 4 really good offensive linemen.
I'm hearing immediate returns on this Rauscher hire.
Returns. I could be well off base here when it comes to evaluating what I know about the offensive line room right now. But from last season, we know we have 4 really good ones. Everybody else is still kind of waiting and seeing until we watch them play. But it could be really good. Not saying they're bad, but just from what I know right now.
I have running backs at 3 and offensive line at 4 just because I agree with what you're saying of like there are some unproven commodities, but it feels like there's more commodities that they're at least willing to learn about.
Oh, crap. I just remember 15 personnel doesn't even work. You have to the one has to be the quarterback. You got 5 offensive linemen. 5 tight ends is 10.
So you go empty.
So 0-5 personnel. So one of the tight ends has to play running back, Ethan Barbour.
Ooh.
Oh, we're cooking
They
now.
had sets with Bowers at running back, didn't they?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We're cooking now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, I really want to see this now. Mm-hmm. Too bad we definitely won't be seeing that in the spring game.
No.
Definitely
Hell
won't be
no.
seeing that.
I might even see 12 personnel in the spring.
Now I'm thinking like, do they want me to talk about this? And then I realized like, yeah, I would, if I had the ability to do this, I would make every defensive coordinator try to figure out how they would play this.
Just even think about it.
Just spend 30 minutes on Monday trying to figure out what happens if they hop into a 5 tight end personnel. Mm-hmm. What do we do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just wasted 30 minutes for you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Running back is super deep. We talked about it in our intel from spring scrimmage, number 1. If they get 12 games of lightning touches out of Dwight Phillips, if they get thunder, lightning, bell cow totes out of Chauncey and out of Nate, if they get the random 4 games of 5 for 96 from Dowdle, it's going to be tough. Mm-hmm. On top of all that, like, I think the quarterback runs for 65 yards a game this year.
Yeah.
Like last year, we kind of had to like protect him maybe a little bit. We got to last for 2 years physically. Nah. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Let's go play some ball.
This it.
Yep, this is it. Let's go play some ball.
Mm-hmm. Boy, taking the bumpers off of Gunnar Stockton, imagining what that could possibly look like, because he already doesn't play like he has them. So imagine telling him like, "Hey, Gunnar, you can play more freely now. Don't worry about your body so much."
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
Just take it easy on that baseline test is all I'll say.
Good God. What a niche reference.
Right? Right? That's the only way you could be with that subject. Real niche.
Do that
that's a layered joke.
Yeah.
That Will Smith movie made those not really funny to do.
No, yeah, that was a tough scene.
Edge room, I got number 5.
Yeah.
Like middle of the pack.
That's where I have
Yeah.
him.
You know? And it's really good. Chase Linton had a good week. Mm-hmm. Chase is one of those football players didn't play a lot of like high caliber. We taught you a lot of ball, high school football. Kind of, you're a great athlete, see ball, get ball is the way we taught him. But what was the term? Someone called him a stem cell.
Ooh,
Where he rapidly learns. Give it to him, absorbs it immediately and takes it. I thought that was a really good nug from a source. But obviously Isaiah Gibson, you got Aiken Nagbun,
a bunch
Gabe
of
Harris out this spring, Quintavious Johnson taking reps. One thing I thought was really interesting, and I never thought about it this way, but somebody taught me or told me that edge and rushing the passer, and he didn't say this directly, but he mentioned it being almost like a 10,000 hour theory. Like it can't be something you just rep in practice. In-game reps of getting home, how to rush, in-game reps are paramount at that position. Like I can take one-on-one reps as a tackle and learn how to kick slide. Mm-hmm. But understanding timing, understanding emphasis of rush, understanding down and distances, understanding situational football, all of this are acquired and learned traits by actual in-game reps. Very akin to pocket awareness as a quarterback. And I can't teach you that. That has to be an in-game learning thing.
And to that as well, it's the only position on the field where you are taught and it is hammered into your head very early outside of a game reps to when you get to the spot, when you get home, start gearing down. Mm-hmm. You never see someone run full speed
in practice?
Through the point. Like I think that might be part of what.
Or you're running by, just tagging off.
Yeah, like there's no scenario at all where you are actually supposed to go and tackle the quarterback.
It's so funny. It is a position that is predicated off of finishing rate. Like
yes.
How well do we get the guy on the ground? And we don't practice it but 13 times a year.
Yeah.
When we're actually playing.
Now, unless they're putting the walk on back there and they're like, hey.
Fresh meat, boys.
Doesn't have a non-contact on. They're just like, run for your life, buddy. But other than that, like very rarely is that trained in my opinion.
Ironically enough, the starting quarterback waived that right as a scholarship football player his first year there.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, we're playing this Max Dugan guy. I'm wearing a jersey this week.
What did he say to Kirby?
Come hit my ass.
No. Continue.
Oh, my bad. I missed the layup.
Continue.
You weren't ready.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that one.
A little spur of the moment. You can't do that to the guy.
I don't want to exploit it too much.
He's not a corner three guy. That's not a corner three thing either. That's kind of a, hey, clear the lane, let him ISO, figure it out a little bit. Give it to him early in the shot clock.
Anytime Gunnar Stockton's name is mentioned,
he better be ready.
That's got to be on standby.
Okay. It's got to be ready in the pocket.
Okay.
Got to be ready to catch and shoot.
Stored away in my mind.
Got it.
That one of the most known commodities of Georgia, I have to be ready on an instant to
impersonate him
now.
Okay. D-line, I got it 6th.
So I broke mine up in like interior defensive line, and then I just put it as like edge and jack players.
Yeah, D-line. That's what I'm talking about. So I had the edge 5, D-line 6.
I think they're a little deeper than what we think, though.
Yeah.
Like when you really start thinking about it, like Xavier McLeod, Jordan Hall. I know that he's not at spring practice right now due to his injury last year. Josh Horton was really good last year. Mm-hmm. Elijah Griffin. I think they're deeper than what you think, but
so this is why I have them here, right? Like, been waiting on Nnamdi Agboko for a little minute. Nasir Johnson still waiting.
Yes.
Jordan Hall still waiting for, like, we saw it work, and then it looked great, and then we're back on the IR. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's why they're there for me, because there are certain things where I'm like, Josh Horton had flashes last year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, really good, but, like, can we be a consistent down-and-out football player this year for you guys?
I think part of the reason why the tight end room is viewed as so deep is because we've seen the quality of depth. We've seen Lawson Lucky take in-game reps. We've seen Jane Riddell take in-game reps. We've seen Elias Williams be a nightmare to cover in any position. So I think that's like there's a lot of depth and there's a lot of names on that defensive line room, but we don't know what the quality is just yet. I think that's why the receiver room is so questionable because there's a lot of names there, but we don't necessarily know what those names are going to do this year.
I got the defensive back room 7th.
I had them second to last.
Yeah, I think that's a fair one.
I think going into the spring, we're like, who's going to be the 5? Mm-hmm. I think now I kind of think I know who the 5 is going to be.
Right.
Like starter-wise, you're set.
Like I think it's going to be Barnes. I think it's going to be KJ. It's going to be Dinkins. It's going to be DeMello and Ellis. But this is a program that needs like 8.
The only known backup you have right now is Zion Branch.
Yeah.
Corner? Who? Don't know. who's past Zion, or we don't know. We just don't know those answers yet.
We're going to fall in love with somebody.
It's
for
We're
sure.
going to have man, broke my heart seeing Dominic Kelly on some Ohio State
Stop.
social media stuff, man.
We always bring this up.
And with a very solid take. Did you see it? Y'all not hooked into the Buckeye social media content like I am.
Can't say that.
No, not really.
Yeah, I'm just loving someone from a distance. That's all.
I block them on social
The
media.
the question was, what's the most played out in gross swag trend in college football? And his answer was perfect. 2 mouthpieces.
Yeah, that's
Oh
Played out
yeah,
is gross.
get it out of here.
2 mouthpieces is gross. Shout out Dom Kelly.
yeah.
Always
Sad.
keeping it real.
It's a good decision though for him.
I understand.
I get it.
understand.
I get it.
Pour one out.
Let's have a
Still harping
moment
on
of
it.
silence.
So a moment of
for Dom
silence
Kelly.
for Dom Kelly. All right.
But it is interesting.
It's like 6 of them.
It is interesting
Normally they
the,
play like 8.
the situation Georgia's in the cornerback room now, because it's all you've come into the season. We've got one guy we know, and then it's kind of figuring out what the other 2 guys behind that one guy are going to do. Now you have 2 guys that you know, and now it's kind of figuring out where the 3rd and 4th guys are going to be.
Have we? I'm being cautious of this next discussion. We discussed Jonell at length when it happened, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that the first example of Georgia having an expensive older player, having a ready-to-go younger player, telling the expensive older player it's okay to go somewhere else, even though you're good enough to play here, you can go somewhere else?
I'm trying to, off the top of my head, that's a tough question to answer.
Of that example, I'd say yes. Because, I can think of players that...
Like the MJ Sherman thing didn't work.
Right.
The Nyland Green thing didn't work. Like he couldn't play here. The Julian Humphrey
No,
thing, he got beat
there's-
out.
There is an
You know
example
what I mean?
here.
Who?
The linebacker that we're seeing go to the NFL draft this year was
Jamon Dumas Johnson?
yeah. That was
last year. He went to the NFL.
no. I'm talking about C.J. Allen took his spot.
Yes. Yes.
C.J. Allen.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think C.J.
Yes.
Allen
Yeah.
was the example of
Okay.
Hey,
that was
buddy.
the first one of,
Yeah.
hey, why is this guy who's pretty good for them going to an SEC school? Well, it's because his younger replacement is already ready to go. It's time for him to go.
That's the example.
Okay. So we've had it happen before.
Yes.
All right. Just wanted to know because, he would play. He would be good enough to play this year for Georgia. But Dink was better. Dink was still already better, they felt, and still had room to grow and needs to play.
Yep.
So I think that example is going to happen at a much higher rate moving forward, as if at all these budgets actually get squeezed.
Yeah.
If we ever actually come to a real rev share where there is a cap, there is a limit to which you can spend, and everyone has the same limit, we're going to start seeing a whole hell of a lot more of this. Where it's like, hey, maybe your favorite football player who never did anything wrong at Georgia just might have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That make you feel some type of way, I would imagine.
It does, but also at the same point, the undeniable stars are undeniable.
Yeah, I mean, at Georgia's first world problems, like, oh, woe is me. Jonah Aguero's not on the roster anymore. You finna love watching Rayshawn Dinkins play football.
And it's
You
like,
finna love that.
this would have never happened to a Malachi Starks or
No.
someone like that, where it's like that person is so undeniable that is their spot. You're not going to force them out.
Yeah.
So it'll happen, but I don't think it's going to be the.
You were okay in that situation. You ended up really well on that situation. So maybe this will be another example of that, where you're going to be okay.
Oh, yeah. Dink's gonna be fun to watch. Made some plays this weekend. I got quarterback and wide receiver at the bottom.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I mean, I know we only play one at quarterback, but I don't know what would happen if I don't know what your offense looks like from a success standpoint if Gunnar gets hurt, and that's
fair.
not because I think Brian Puglisi is bad or I've been told he is not what he is. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I have no idea what it looks like. I hope we get a better look at it in mop-up duty this year.
Yeah. Get a good look at it hopefully in a couple weeks.
That too, you know.
yeah.
And then wide receiver. They like what they got.
Yeah, that could end up being your deepest room by the end of the year.
I think that
could be one of those situations.
It's the most volatile room Georgia has. There's no denying that, where it could be you come out and you go, man, we thought the 2025 room was dangerous, and look back and well, this 2026 room's so much better. Like, other than London Humphreys, there really isn't a proven commodity on there.
Nope.
Like, you've got a bunch of prospects that you feel really, really good about. That
Isn't the second leading production receiver from a college standpoint Isaiah Canyon?
I think Isaiah Canyon,
It's London, Isaiah Canyon, and then a bunch of guys who have never caught collegiate receptions, right?
I think Isaiah would be higher than London. Maybe.
No, he had a year at Vandy and 2 at Georgia. London's got more career yardage.
Correct, you're right.
So it's probably London, Isaiah, and then C.J. Wiley with like 7 for 45.
Sokovia would probably be next on that list.
Sokovia
had
for like 11 for 85.
Yeah, that's literally
you see
what it
saying?
is. And then after
like
that,
it
it's
is a lot of.
Talon Taylor, who got some burn last year. But other than that, like,
I look at their wide receiver room as a real guinea pig experiment project for we're betting on high schools. Mm-hmm. We're betting on recruiting.
Yeah.
I mean, we are betting on we signed the right guys, we paid the right guys, we're developing the right way. Except for London. But even him,
point, like,
we stole him with 3 to go.
Yeah, this is his third season with Georgia.
That's on the end. His last. He balled out at Vandy year 1. He's ours now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Nobody's saying, the Vanderbilt product that went to Georgia.
No.
Yeah. I think
when he gets drafted, it'll be he developed at Georgia.
I think the rule should be if you have 3 years of starts.
Where's your majority at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even just majority. Like, where's if you have 3 years at that point, you're not a transfer prospect. But to your point, like, they have mostly for the past 2 to 3 seasons taken bets on, okay, we're going to use transfer portal prospects. Like,
at that position.
Yeah.
Right?
Colby Young and Zachariah Branch were your guys last year. The year before that, it was Colby Young and, Merle Thomas and other guys like that. Going into the 24 season, it felt like that as well. Like, the homegrown talent for the high school talent was not necessarily as pertinent.
Speaking of homegrown, how about $111 million worth of homegrown?
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Big old payday for Trayvon Walker. They've been trying to do this
that
for a minute.
1-1 bust,
Yeah,
Trayvon Walker.
he sucks.
That guy stinks.
Yeah, people call him like the most irrelevant first overall pick.
They're still writing those articles?
I would imagine they were up until this point.
I thought Butcher Report died.
And it was funny because even like when people were making those claims, it's like, guys, he just had back-to-back seasons of 10+ sacks.
I think that's why because you can't label him as a bust. You can't. Like, there's no way you can label him as a bust, but it's obvious that he's not a generational, my God, this is a future NFL Hall of Famer. Like, it's not set in stone that he's that yet, but he's a damn good player for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's a game changer for them.
I never once in my life thought Jadeveon Clowney was a bust, ever.
Mm-hmm.
This kid's tracking to have a better career than Jadeveon.
Correct. I do think the difference in that, though, is the hype that comes into that. Jadeveon Clowney was billed as
generational.
This guy's generational. This guy's insane. Trayvon Walker was more billed as, this guy was one of the better athletes on a team that just won the national championship and allowed less than 12 points per game. He's got to go 1 overall.
$111 million over 4 years, $75 million guaranteed. And honestly, to overcome the fact that he played in a college system that does not promote NFL success is crazy.
Deep cut there. I would love to, by the time it's all said and done, because there's a lot of these guys still have careers to go. I mean, Trayvon Walker will probably get a third it won't be this fortuitous, but he will probably get a third contract at some point in his career. What the total earnings of that starting 11 will be, or just those like Jalen Carter is going to. Jordan Davis is the highest paid defense tackle ever. Jalen Carter is going to get paid. Nolan Smith will get a contract. Nakobe Dean just got a massive deal with the Raiders. Quay Walker just got a massive deal with the Raiders. Like, there's going to be. I would love to see how much total earnings that defense.
Are
will
the
have.
only 2 players on that defense not still in the league? The 2 safeties, J.R. Reed and Richard.
Richard was not.
Mark Webb's in the league still, isn't he?
Oh,
Richard wasn't on that.
You're still,
I'm sorry.
You're 2021. Yes, it's the 2 safeties.
Yeah,
it's
Lewis
Seen and it's Christopher Smith.
Okay.
And Chris Smith was on the Raiders last season, but they cut him. And I think Lewis Seen, like, that's kind of a.
I think he's into coaching now.
Chris?
No, Lewis.
Lewis?
That's kind of a what
Back in
coulda-
high school?
I think so. I can't remember, but he's back into coaching now.
Is Darian Kendrick still on the roster?
Yes.
He's still playing somewhere, yes.
Okay. Because I know that he was on the Rams and he was off the Rams. He was back on the Rams again. But
I think he's with the Seahawks now or Cowboys. Yeah, he's with the Cowboys now.
so yeah. But I mean, and Cian is also like I don't view that as like a traditional bust. Like that's a guy who snapped his ankle his rookie year and then never really was able to get back on the field after that.
You're right.
I know you say that he wasn't.
Yeah, I just never.
Look.
It's great that he got paid when he did because I never saw. He's like 18th overall, wasn't he?
No, he's
No,
32nd,
he's like-
I believe.
he was like
or
the
something.
last
Okay,
pick
bottom
on
of the
the
first.
draft.
But
like
still,
bottom out of the first.
I never really saw first round.
Well, go and look at the Minnesota Vikings draft that year.
Not a Parker Lindstrom guy.
They missed consistently. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I think that GM just got fired, didn't he?
Yes. The draft classes were bad.
Y'all want to do a 2027 draft right quick?
Might as well. We're on the topic of it.
Let's do it.
Now, I might have missed some names. I know Kirby also made a list, but I listed out every name that I would say either you're out of eligibility no matter what, you're going to the league, or these are players where probably likely you end up going
So we're
to the
going to
league.
yay or nay this.
Yeah.
He's
So,
either staying or he going.
Chris Cole.
Gone.
Yeah.
See ya.
Raylan Wilson. You're done.
Goodbye.
Out of eligibility.
Nate Frazier. Probably gone.
Probably
He gone.
gone.
Lawson Lucky. You're done.
Gone.
Yeah.
KJ Bolden.
Yeah.
I would
Huh?
say so.
There's a world maybe.
Well, there's also a world where we're like projected third safety off the board, also projected to make $1 million if we come back to Georgia.
So we'll do neutral.
For his sake, let's say
He's a real marketable athlete, and
Yes.
there's very few of those in college football. Like we can actually get revenue for
That's
him.
fair.
as
Let's
a
say
name,
he
image,
makes
and
the
likeness
jump,
guy.
though, that we think he could make this year. We'll
Gone.
say that he's gone.
Gone.
Okay. Ellis Robinson.
should be gone.
Should be gone. I've already received text
DeMello Jones. I'd probably say no right now, maybe.
from the NFL. That is, huh?
DeMello Jones. I'd probably say maybe stays. But I don't
Maybe.
know.
Maybe.
Both of
Maybe.
them could be gone.
I mean,
DeMello Jones is like 6'1.5".
Oh, he'll be one of
An
those.
incredible
You wanna
athlete.
talk about RAS scores?
He's got great tape already. Like that could be a. Weren't Stokes and Campbell in the same draft?
They were.
That could be a situation like that.
I think that's what you're looking at.
Khalil Barnes. I believe he's done after this year.
Yes.
He is
Correct.
done.
He's.
Okay.
I mean, he's already played 3 years coming to Georgia.
Right.
By the way, we're at 8 players right now.
Quintavious Johnson.
I'm gonna say goes. It's a high position. It's a high value position.
Does he get 7.5 sacks this year?
We'll say no.
No.
I think
comes back.
if he gets 5.5, I think he's gone.
All right. Gabe Harris. I think he's done, isn't he? This is
Yeah.
his last year,
Gone.
I believe. Xavier McLeod, he's done this
He's
year.
gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
11.
Jordan Hall, he'll be done after this year.
Yeah.
Drew Bobo.
Um,
Is this his last year of eligibility? I don't know.
he has not played for.
No, he hasn't played for, but he's played the last 3. But did he get a
He's played the last 2.
No, he played
played
for Jared Wilson
He
when he was
played in
injured.
2023. Excuse me, 2023.
He might have got a red
No,
shirt that year.
I
though.
thought he played 24 and 25.
he
Jared Wilson was a center in 24 for a single season.
Okay, yeah, you're
Varen
right.
Pram would have been the
played
center
the
in
last
23.
2 years.
Correct.
You're right. 2
You're right.
years now.
Correct.
So
Okay.
he's played 2, redshirted 1. I think he's got 2 left.
Okay. So we'll say stays.
I'm going to
then.
say stays.
Okay.
We're still at 12.
Ernest Green, he is done after
Gotta
this
go.
year. London
Exhausted
Humphreys
eligibility.
is done this
I
year.
think we're out of eligibility there.
Sokovie White Helton,
He'll be in college.
I would imagine so.
You think so?
He will be in college football in 2027.
Okay.
The question is he a Georgia Bulldog?
Okay.
Okay.
So even if he doesn't have if he goes
Kirby, we got to go nuclear to be a top 90 pick.
He'd have to be what Zachariah Branch was last year.
Nuclear.
Yeah.
yeah,
Nuclear.
it's fair.
Chauncey Bowens, just kind of depends on the year,
I think
Yeah.
running backs you just assume they're gone. It's such a high turnover position.
Dante Dowdell, I don't know what the
I think this-
eligibility
I
situation
this
is.
is
think
it.
this is his last year.
I think so too, because this is his 3rd school.
I think he's
believe.
very similar to the McRae situation.
Yeah, I think so too. And then the last name I had was Isaiah Canyon.
He's coming back to college.
I didn't know if he had another year or
He
not.
does.
Okay.
He was either a sophomore or a redshirt freshman last year
Okay.
at Tech.
Name I know I didn't have on here, Justin Williams.
Can I ask you a question that y'all don't have the answer to? Does the 9-game redshirt rule, is that retroactive?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think that's
Why wouldn't it be? How would that rule, once implemented, not apply to everybody on active rosters?
I'm sure you'll see people fight for it.
retroactive in what way?
In that rule's getting enacted now.
Correct.
You're talking about
Isaiah Kenyon played, let's say he played 6 games in 2024. That's over the 4-game rule, so he didn't apply for a red shirt.
Yeah, right. You can't do
But
that.
it's under the 9-game rule.
I think that
Why?
So you're saying like what they do with the COVID, where it's like everybody.
because you're
No.
going to open up such a can of worms of lawsuits of.
You're
I
going to
don't
open up a can of worms of lawsuits in the sense that y'all set this precedent. Why does it not apply to me?
because I think that you have to say, hey, here's the start date of when this rule is enacted.
That's what I'm saying.
like,
Did
I don't think-
did they write it that way?
I would hope so for their sake.
It'd either be that way, or it would be in the instance of if you have already used a red shirt, you cannot do this. Like if you've already if you played under the 4-game limit and you've used your red shirt,
For
that's
sure.
it.
For sure. But there were players that played in 7 or 8 games that didn't apply for it that now could.
Yeah, they might have a case for it.
The way we could figure this out is when they extended it from 1 to 4.
Yeah.
Which
If
I
we
don't
really
remember
wanted to
there
dig
being
that much.
cases like that.
I don't remember, but at that point during the time,
The
it
precedent
was all
wasn't-
COVID bull.
And that's what I was gonna say,
And
you had a lot
everyone was
more
applying
other
for
things.
those, and it's a whole mess.
Yeah. But of that list, I didn't list off Justin Williams, but I assume that he'll probably be back next year.
I think so.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
Unless, there's a scenario where, God forbid this doesn't happen, but there's a scenario where Raylan Wilson is hurt early in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Williams plays all 14 games, and people are like, now.
Yeah, we
Come
need
on.
you. We need you now.
You're coming up here with us.
Also didn't list any of the other transfer players just because I just don't know. I don't know what's expected of them this
Zion
year.
Branch is out of eligibility.
Okay, so Zion Branch belongs on
Zion
this
Branch.
list.
This will be it for him.
But guys like Gentry Williams, is this it for him?
It has to be.
Has to be, you would assume.
Most
Actually, no, there's a red shirt and a medical there.
Okay, so
You know what I mean? There's a year where we only played 4 games last year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, you only played in 4. And there's also a year where we didn't play football because we were under the knife.
oh yeah,
So we get both of those back.
So never mind. He has eligibility left then
Yeah.
too. So those are the only omissions that I could really think of.
that's 13 players that you expect are going to declare for the NFL draft next year. And that's just like baseline.
Oh, and Josh Horton. I think he's out after this
so
year.
14.
He might have another one.
I can't remember. It's so hard
He
now.
might have another one. I think he's only a year older than.
That's right. He only spent one
he's
year
only-
at Miami.
Yeah,
didn't
1
he?
year at Miami. I think he's only a year older than Donnie.
Oh, okay. All right. So then you could definitely have him back. All right. Well, there you go. A lot of names.
Yeah, he's the same age as Bo Huey.
Yeah. So you got tons of names.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, you've got 13 names that are going to declare for the NFL draft this year.
As of now.
Hey, man, shout out to them Diamond Dogs.
This is a big weekend for them.
Yeah, dude.
My gosh. Big weekend. Dude, it's been a big month and a half for them.
And this is really what I think that Georgia fans should take away from that weekend is you didn't just go up against a top 5 team in the country at the time, and not only did you go to their place, they hadn't lost a home game all year until this weekend. They lost 3 straight. But you went up against one of the best pitching rotations in all of college baseball. So when you want to talk about applying your philosophy against other top-ranked teams and teams that you might be facing in the postseason of does our philosophy of we'll just score more runs than you, that's what we believe upon, you just did it against one of the best pitching staffs in all of college baseball.
And that's to me, that's always been the biggest question about everything outside of Georgia football for me as a person who covers the team, right? It's like, I know out of conference scheduling in basketball, y'all gonna win.
Yeah.
I know out of conference scheduling in baseball, y'all gonna win. And y'all gonna do it in baseball now with Wes Johnson the way that y'all just got done doing it in pre-SEC play.
Yeah.
Where, buddy, y'all were top 5 in every offensive statistical category that exists in baseball heading into SEC play.
I think they were leading the total home runs by team by 26
Correct.
going into conference play.
And here's why. Your RPI, like your FPI, whatever football index basically
RPI.
is like how you the team schedule that you play. It's like 128th.
Yeah, that's why
going
some
into
ranking
conference
systems
play.
didn't like them.
Correct. And then you go into conference play and you're 11-2 or 10-2 right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's big-time stuff.
Yeah, you've won.
Sweeping the number 4 team in the country on the road.
You were the only conference team to have a sweep this past weekend. You've won every single conference series. 2 out of the 4 have been sweeps. Now, one of those was South Carolina, so take it however you will. But, again, going on the road against Mississippi State.
Don't need to beat the Cox while they're down, dude.
Yeah, I don't think anybody.
You don't have to do
I don't
that.
think anybody right
You
now
don't
said
have to do that.
Come on, I think I kind of did.
You gotta wait till they're up to beat them.
But some big series.
At least on
remaining.
their feet. I mean, give them a fighting chance.
Some big series still remain. They have Florida this weekend. Then I think it's Arkansas. Then I want to say Ole Miss. Then LSU, Auburn.
Yeah, prior to SEC play, I remember writing a paragraph that said there are 9 SEC football team or SEC baseball teams at the time ranked inside the top 25. Georgia was set to play 6 of them. Mm-hmm. They were the 7th.
Yeah.
So there are only 2 at the time non-ranked teams that they didn't have a schedule.
Mm-hmm. Really, the only thing that you need is, I mean, Dylan Veig.
Texas swept South Carolina this week, but we're not counting South Carolina.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
It doesn't count. It doesn't fit our narrative.
Sorry,
it doesn't fit our narrative.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, Dylan Veig was really good. Scott's been really good. It's just really Volchko's been good as a Friday starter.
I mean, Daniel Jackson's going to be like a top 10 pick, isn't he?
I don't know top 10.
Jonathan, a catcher that can hit like that.
The
way he plays defense.
Georgia Tech has a better.
How many
one.
strikes did he steal this weekend?
Oh no! I'm not saying.
Did you just say Georgia Tech has a better one?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Let me look it up.
Because don't they have a shortstop that's a stick too?
Are you thinking of Drew Burris?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a catcher. Like Georgia Tech is like a catcher.
That dude's like
pipeline,
5'9", and he's got an absolute boomstick.
Von Lackey.
That's a name.
He's being projected as like one of those top picks. Daniel Jackson certainly could become this, but right now he's not being projected as that. I think the only Georgia player I know of right now that's being projected as that is Volchko, which a lot of teams like right now, who's being projected like French first
I
rounder.
misread chat. Not even Texas swept South Carolina.
Okay, I was about to say, I thought I saw a graphic today that said Georgia was the only team that swept.
Hey, Dogs on top.
Yeah.
That's bottom line.
So
Dogs
yeah,
on top.
it's a good baseball season so far. Got to finish strong.
And guess what? I'm going to a women's basketball coach's introduction
Hired a
press
new head
conference
coach.
Hell yeah.
tomorrow. Yeah. Going to support the women's hoop dogs.
We love that.
Yeah. Y'all good?
I'm good.
I'm good. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Love you. Bye.